I feel the Department of Legal Studies has chosen a right topic at a right time. While India is celebrating its 76th year of independence, I have been having intimate relationship with the Department of Legal Studies since last 4 decades. It is because of Dr. Krishna Shetty, a great friend and an erudite scholar in the constitutional law. In fact, he only encouraged me to pursue law course. I followed his advice and joined the BL evening course at Ambedkar Law College and pursued ML course private studies at the University of Madras. I also registered PhD in the Legal Department under the supervision of Professor Dr. David Ambrose, former head of the Department of Legal Studies. I could not complete. The audience present here should know how this Department of Legal Studies, under the stewardship of Krishna Shetty, had contributed to democracy, social justice, and constitutionalism. I recall a few memorable and unforgettable events with Dr. Krishna Shetty. He had lent support whenever I sought his help for social justice and public services. I sought his guidance to give considered legal opinion on Sri Lankan ethnic crisis. It happened in the year 1983 when Sri Lankan Tamils were mercilessly persecuted by the Jayawardene's authoritarian government of Sri Lanka. At the time there was an upheaval in Tamil Nadu. All the political parties and Tamils, without difference of caste, creed, color, stood together, fought together, and brought pressure on the union government to take action against those perpetuating atrocities on Tamils. At this time, DMK wanted to give a representation to the United Nations Human Rights Council on the gross violations of human rights in Sri Lanka. Dr. Kalaignar Karunanidhi, a great leader, and Muraswamy Maran, a great leader and former Union Minister of Law, Commerce, and asked me to contact Dr. Krishna Shetty and seek his help. When I informed this matter to Dr. Shetty, he had not only given his opinion, but also gave 80 pages of draft on human violation issues as per the human rights. Actually, they obtained 50 lakh signature on this draft and sent to United Nations. The draft given by Shetty was very much appreciated by Muraswamy Maran, sir. Without touching a single word, the draft was fully accepted by the DMK leadership and it was sent to United Nations. We are well aware of the Indo-Sri Lankan treaty signed by late Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi and Jayawardene in 1987. Many clauses found in the treaty are still even debated. When the treaty was about to be signed, the draft agreement was referred to me by Professor Balasingham, advisor to LTT. I told him that it would be wise to consult Dr. Krishna Shetty in this regard. The messengers of Dr. Balasingham and myself met Krishna Shetty at his residence and handed over the copy of the Sri Lankan agreement. Krishna Shetty sought time for a week and asked to meet him again. We met him again. He handed over a detailed comments on the 13th Amendment proposal. He said, this document is fundamentally flawed one. He was of the view that the federal features cannot fit into the unitary constitution as per the norms and practice of the constitutional law. When JVP in Sri Lanka filed a petition in the Sri Lankan Supreme Court against certain classes of agreement, a 5-member bench headed by the Chief Justice Sarath N. Silva, had delivered a judgment in October 2006. In this judgment, the bench described the North-East unification was in the agreement, the main clause of the agreement. In the accord, they described the unification clause mentioned in the accord is unconstitutional, illegal, and invalid. Till that it is otherwise. Dr. Kishas's learned views have come true. When N.T. Ramarao government in Andhra Pradesh was dislodged in 1983 by the Union government, Dr. Kishas's was consulted. He had given a 6-page note to late leader N.T. Ramarao. Along with his majority MLAs, N.T. Ramarao met the President of India, Mr. Jail Singh, and handed over the petition prepared by Kishas's. After seeing it, the President of India restored NTR government in Andhra Pradesh and dismissed the government. These are the greatest achievements of this department, I claim. This department. I am happy to share this incident today. The Department of Legal Studies, University of Madras, is known for its everlasting contribution for the many crucial issues at the time of crisis in the country. Democracy is a universal concept. It is also very difficult to ascertain concisely the impact of democracy on the political institutions of different countries of the world. The fundamental philosophy of democracy always centers around the sovereign rights. That is why American President Lincoln, often it is quoted and recognized, he famously said, democracy is of a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Are these avowed principles still relevant to the United States today? American Nobel laureate Joseph Stiglitz recently questioned the present-day democratic structure of USA. He says, democracy is of 1%, for the 1%. It is not my word, it is Nobel laureate word. It is democracy of 1%, for the 1%, and by the 1%, because the benefits of the economic system are tilted in favor of 1%. I again quote, our democracy, Stiglitz says, tilted as it may be, provides two routes by which reform might happen. Those in 99% could come to realize that they have been duped by the 1%. That what is the interest of 1% is not the interest of 99%. The 1% has worked hard to convince the rest that alternative world is not possible. That doing anything that 1% does not want to will inevitably harm 99%. The book title is The Price of Inequality, How Today's Divided Society Endangers Our Future. This is the Stiglitz remark. How is Indian democracy functioning as per the norms of Dr. Stiglitz? The economic and financial policies pursued since independence have widened the disparities in income and wealth in India, particularly after the introduction of privatization, liberalization, privatization, globalization policy. The inequalities have worsened as per the World Inequality Report 2022. India is among the most unequal countries in the world. Please notice. With rising poverty and affluent elite, the top 10% and 1% in India holds 57% and 22% of the total income collectively, while the bottom 50% share has gone down to 13%. 50%, 30%, that 11%, 70%. What is where is the inequality? Why this phenomenon is continuously present in India? There is a question. There was a debate. There was a discussion. As early as 1960s, Nobel laureate Gunnar Myrdal, he met Jawaharlal Nehru, he met all the political leaders at that time. He was a great Nobel laureate, an outstanding humanist, and he wrote a book, Asian Drama. He said in 1970s, India is ruled by upper class citizens. I quote. In contrast, the poverty-stricken masses, national political leaders were all members of the privileged upper class, and their new positions of responsibility and power rapidly invested with them with still greater privileges. It was 1970. 2012, his son John Myrdal came. He was an outstanding world sociologist. He visited India. He visited the northern parts of the hilly areas and asked a fundamental question. His book is Red Star Over India by John Myrdal. Could the Dalits in India's today's formerly independent India be called free? Question. One needs only to look around the India. Freedom is for the privileged few, not for the majority of the Indian people. For them, India is not still free. Apart from economic issues, Indian democracy has to address and accommodate the people's aspirations. The purpose of the India have different unique features. The people of India have different unique features. They speak different languages. They belong to different ethnic groups. They follow different religions and practice different cultures. That is why Jawaharlal Nehru called unity in diversity. The Constitution of India in its preamble has incorporated the following thing, which you know very well: justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. I do not want to repeat. We, the people of India, we have to assure these constitutional principles laid out in the preamble. Preamble itself recognizes the democracy and social justice should go together to assure dignity to all the sections of the people of India. Social justice is given different interpretations by different leaders and scholars at different periods of time. Jawaharlal Nehru referred growth with social justice while implementing 5-year plans. It is interesting to note that political party in the early 1920s in Tamil Nadu was named as Justice Party. The name itself, Justice Party. The Justice Party emphasized to achieve social justice and social equality through novel method of reservation. Therefore, the Justice Party rule in 1921 introduced reservation system in education and employment. The communal GO issued by the Justice Party government was implemented only in 1927. The GO empowered all communities, including Brahmins, to get their share in employment, education, according to the size of the population. And the reservation given by the Justice Party was later accepted by the government after 1947. When it was implemented in 1920s, Congress opposed it. But 1947, Congress accepted it. But it was challenged after the introduction of the Constitution of India, 1950. The Chintan Chandradut, a great scholar, Cambridge scholar, he wrote a book recently, The Cases That Forgot India. That is the title of the book. He says, to quote him, in less than 18% of 8 months of India becoming a republic, he says, 3 judges of the Madras High Court and 7 judges of the Supreme Court wanted to strike down a Madras government order providing for reservation. It is not my words, it is Chandrajut's words. He is a leading Cambridge law scholar. What happened to the reservation policy after the Supreme Court declared that the reservation followed in Madras presidency was ultra-vires? Another research scholar, he is also an American scholar. Thirupuram Singh, now he is a postdoctoral fellow in London University. He wrote a book, 60 Stormy Days, the story of the First Amendment. This book came into 1920. He says, to quote, the Singh says, the communal GO went through a number of iterations over the 20s and 30s, I told, and reached its final iteration in 1948 under the Congress government of Omundu Ramasamy Reddy, a great freedom fighter. In the last iteration, the last change, the ratio of every 14 applicants stood at non-Brahmin Hindu 6, Brahmin 2, Muslim 1, Anglo-Indian Christians and Europeans each 1, others 2, Harijans 2. It was this iteration being followed when the dispute erupted. The case was called Sambhagarajan. She was a middle-aged woman who got Madras University degree in 1934, but she filed a case in 1950. C.R. Srinivasan, a young student who had just cleared his intermediate examination and applied for admission to the government engineering college Gindi, faced a similar predicament. The petitioners alleged by who they engaged Alladi Krishnasamaya, a noted lawyer and one of the members of the Constituent Assembly. He argued that Article 29(2) of the Constitution prevented discrimination in the matter of admission to state or aided institution was an individual right personally granted to each citizen. Actually, the author of the book has given a lot of details on Tamil Nadu communal reservation system in his book. As per the GO, he says, the engineering college admission, first, as per the communal reservation, what reservation adopted, 70 Brahmins, engineering college, list clear, there were 70 Brahmins, 224 non-Brahmins, 26 Muslims, 26 Harijan were selected. If the caste and community consideration was ignored, the numbers would have been, he quoted, Brahmins 249, 70 249 ஆகிறாங்க, non-Brahmins 224 112 ஆகிறாங்க, 22 Christians ஆகிறாங்க, அப்போ 51 Christianலேருந்து 22 Christian ஆகிறாங்க, and 3 Muslims, 26 Muslimலேருந்து 3 Muslim ஆகிறாங்க. There was no scheduled caste. In the ultra wise, the Supreme Court judges ultra wise சொன்னாங்கல்ல, இதுதான் ultra wise. Ultra wise of the people of India, ultra wise of not the Constitution of India. A mass political agitation led by Periyarism Ramasamy, supported by late Kamaraj, Anna and other political leaders emerged here. Therefore, Nehru had to oblige. First, Nehru refused to accept Kumarasamy Raja's. At the time, Kumarasamy Raja was Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. You should know, Omundu belongs to a forward community, Reddy. Kumarasamy Raja belongs to a forward community. Both stood stubbornly for the reservation system in Tamil Nadu. Nehru first opposed Kumarasamy Raja, but Kumarasamy Raja stood behind the people of Tamil Nadu and he argued the directive principles of the state policy gives a clause under which the marginalized sections of the people can be given support in education and employment. Therefore, you have to give. He argued at the time, when I do not forget his name, a famous man from Kerala was Advocate General of Madras at the time. When the Constitution Amendment was proposed, then after these incidents, Nehru took up it, and first Constitution Amendment came. Ambedkar argued upon. What he has argued, it is equally applied to today's condition. Dr. Ambedkar, I quote Ambedkar, the Supreme Court had misinterpreted the text and scheme of the Constitution. The text and scheme of the Constitution. Moreover, more broadly, the Supreme Court has misread the scheme of the Constitution by making fundamental rights a stumbling block in the advancement of the backward class. He further argued, it was a very lengthy argument. Ambedkar spoke 55 minutes in the parliament. The author says it was a legal argument. Nehru, 20 minutes spoke on this amendment. It is a political argument. Ambedkar said, I had often in the course of my practice told the presiding judge in very emphatic terms that I am bound to obey the judgment, but I am not bound to respect it. That is the liberty which every lawyer brings in telling the judge that judgment is wrong, and I am not prepared to give up the liberty. Chandrajut, Cambridge scholar, he expressed his views on this view. Though his speech, the former chairperson of the drafting committee told the nation the Supreme Court had got its interpretive analysis of the Constitution completely wrong. Today also I am telling this. It holds good today because it is Ambedkar's words. It is another seasoned thinker and writer, Chandrajot, argument. When the first Constitution amendment was in the final stage of approval, in another surprising revealing information was given by him. The same Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer requested Nehru to include him in the draft committee to make a first amendment, but Nehru rejected it. Today, the Union government has brought out 10% reservation for economically weaker section of the society, which is mainly protect the interest of the upper caste through 103 Amendment Constitution of India. Many constitutional experts have argued that 10% reservation is against the basic structure of the Constitution. The Supreme Court has taken different stands at different times in hearing the reservation case and interpreting the laws of the Constitution. One American constitutional expert, he is still alive, crossed 90 years. Mark Lander, you would have seen his book, celebrated work. He wrote a book, Competing Inequalities, Law and the Backward Class in India, as stated. By and large, the court exercised little control over the preferential treatment by the central government. Little. On the other hand, the court struck down 27 arrangements in 8 states. That's 28 medical admissions, state கொண்டு வந்தது தப்புன்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. ஸ்டேட்டு கொண்டு வந்தால் தப்புங்கிறாங்க சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட்டு. யூனியன் கவர்மெண்ட் தான் கண்டுக்காமல் இருக்காங்க. What? 20% of the cases concern preferential treatment for the backward class. Mark Lander said, he is a very great authority. Judges and lawyers, whether in trained India or abroad, have been exposed to legal education, which stressed formal analytical treatment of legal doctrine rather than consideration of policy. There have been virtually no exposure to social inquiry or out of law college. Social inquiry, the social structure varies according to my view, varies from state to state in India. The demographic data reveal that the proportion of minorities in the state population also varies state to state according to the 1911 census. Now we have not taken census. Northeastern states have more Christian population in India. Out of the 2.78 crores Christians, 78 lakhs Christians are living in northern states. This is the largest concentration of Christians in India after the coastal region, stretching from southern Tamil Nadu and Kerala to coastal Karnataka, Goa and Maharashtra. Similarly, the Muslim population is concentrated in UP, West Bengal, Bihar, Maharashtra, and ST population is very high in northern India. It would be ideal to keep 2 streams of reservation system in India. One for the states according to the population in social structure, another for whole India. The government of Tamil Nadu, 69% reservation was upheld by the Supreme Court. The reservation system was passed by the Tamil Nadu Assembly and accepted by the Union government and kept in the 9th schedule of the Constitution. It is a unique reservation system which gives inner reservation for neglected sectors, the OBC, SC, and also 3% separate reservation for Muslim. In this context, we have to analyze the impact of economic criteria on the reservation system. Whether this system is right one or faulty one, I give few details about the functioning of economic system. The national income of India is calculated according to the contribution of the primary sector, that is agriculture and allied activities. Secondary sector, industries and tertiary sector, what we call the service sector. The Agriculture Allied Industries Report 2022 mentioned that India is one of the major players in agriculture sector worldwide, and it is the primary source of livelihood for about 58% of the India population. India has world's largest cattle herd, buffaloes, largest areas planted to wheat, rice and cotton, and is the largest producer of milk, pulses, spices in the world. It is the second largest producer of fruit, vegetable, tea, farmed fish, cotton, sugarcane, wheat, rice, cotton, sugar. Agriculture sector in India still holds the record of the second largest agriculture land in the world, generating employment for about half of the country's population. Their farmers became integral part of the sector to provide a means of sustenance. This is the latest report. Can anyone say whether upper caste population or socially underprivileged population work in the primary sector? I am asking. Can you identify an agriculture? Can you identify a shepherd? If you want to support the marginal section of the society, you give additional incentive to them. I don't object it. According to the statistics given by the Union Ministry of Statistics in 2021, state-wise GDP composition in 1917 follows. Agriculture 15%, industry 23%, service sector. With the production of agriculture activity, the $375 billion. India is the largest producer of agriculture product and accounts for 7.3% total global agriculture output. India is way behind China. This is a government of report, which has 99 billion GDP in the agriculture sector. The GDP industrial sector is 560 billion and world rank is 6. India world rank is 8 in the service sector and GDP is 1,500 billion. The agriculture sector contribution to the Indian economy is much higher than the world average, 6.4. The industry got service sectors is lower than world average, 3%. Unorganized sector labor constitute 27%, that is 27 crores, 18% of the population. Nearly 24% of the workforce is concentrated in the service sector. Service sector includes not only IT industry related jobs, but also the jobs in the scavenging and low paid occupations. Another example I can cite about agriculture income tax found in the state list. Agriculture income tax is, as per the constitution, is in the state list. But actually the income tax of India is giving agriculture, a exemption for agriculture losses. Many people using this class and show agriculture is incurring loss and get reduction, income tax reduction, they get it. 1972, a committee was appointed under the chairmanship of Professor K. N. Raj, he was a Kerala, when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister, for assessing agriculture and income, levy taxes on agriculture income. What Dr. Raj Committee recommended was, he said only in selected regions the tax can be levied and collected. This tax was named as agriculture holding tax. The agriculture holding tax was never levied because agriculture income fluctuates according to the vagaries of monsoon. Even today, Indian agriculture is a gamble of the hand of the monsoon. Is this a situation? Who has fixed 80 acres for 10% reservation of economically weaker section? 8 acres. Can we compare 8 acres of agriculture land nearer to Ganges and 8 acres nearer to Rajasthan desert? What is the criteria? That's why Ambedkar said the Supreme Court did not understand the scheme of the Constitution. Can we compare 10 acres in Kaveri Delta and 10 acres in Ramnath and Dharmaburi district? Therefore, the fixing of income for different sectors of Indian economy is almost impossible task. In this context, centralization of reservation system will play havoc in India's society, polity and economy. The already centralization is doing all the things actually which against the people of India. I would like to quote Arigar Anna's speech in 25th January in Parliament. His unique interpretation of the Constitution and plea for state autonomy was reflected in the speech. Anna says, it is Anna's words, to quote, the preamble of the Constitution says that political sovereignty rests with the people. The legal sovereignty is divided between federal and union and the constituent units. Why don't we take it that our scheme is to make states still more effective sovereign units? Anna says, sovereignty does not reside entirely in one particular place. We have a federal structure. That is why the framers of the Constitution wanted a federal structure, not a unitary structure, because as many political philosophers have pointed out, Anna told in the presence of Nehru, India is so vast. So in fact it has been described as a subcontinent. The mental health is so varied. The traditions are so different. The history is so varied. That cannot be a steel frame unitary structure. But now the centralization of process and accumulation of powers are posing a dangerous situation to Indian democracy, federalism and constitutionalism. It is a need of the hour to debate the controversies that center around democracy and social justice. I hope you have discussed in the 2 days seminars various issues. I have given my views on social and political issues which are currently discussed in India, supported by data from the government sources. I wish that the discussion held during the 2-day seminar would throw light on the current issues. In my opinion, controversies can be resolved by consensus. Consensus is a collective wisdom. Collective wisdom is always superior in resolving issues. There cannot be one nation, one opinion, and one language. Thank you.
உன் கடவுளை விட உன் சாஸ்திரத்தை விட உன் முன்னோரை விட உன் வெங்காயம் வழக்கமாத்தை விட உன் அறிவு பெருசு அதை சிந்தி